This team is for real. I don't know why. See, there you go. Once again, people out there not giving the Warriors full credit. It's weird. And maybe it's because they're too. I think it's because the Warriors look. They all look too choir boyish or something. Maybe that's why people don't think this team is for real. They all look like they should be choir boys.
The baby-faced assassin?
Yeah, Steph. Harrison Barnes looked like he should be taking political science courses as opposed to being one of the best young players in the game. So I think that's what it is.
Oh, man.
Oh, I like that. Stephen A., does he have a point?
Well, he may have a point, but I'm saying, oh, man, because I see my phone ringing and I can't answer it. It's no caller ID, and I'm scared it's magic. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared. I hope it's not him. I hope it's not him. But seriously speaking, I mean,
tweet.
Whatever. What I'm telling you is this. What I'm saying to you is this. Look, you got to... we got to be honest here as first take. I love the Golden State Warriors. And I want to give Steve Kerr some credit because I think he's done an exceptional job of coaching in this NBA Finals series. There were some questionable decisions he may have made earlier in Oklahoma City, but since they've been down 3-1, I think he's been pretty damn close to flawless.
He has.
And he and Luke Walton deserve a lot of credit. When you look at these players, Draymond Green to me is old school, got a lot of love for him. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the Splash Brothers, they're phenomenal. Klay Thompson, I was laughing the other day because somebody said he looked like the PBS logo. If you look at the angle of him sideways, he looks just like the PBS logo. But I got to tell you, all joking aside, as great as they are, there is some resentment because, they're perceived as being, relatively pretty boys. I mean, Jamie Foxx calling Steph Curry, the babyface assassin. Him and Klay Thompson looking so young. And in the black community, whether folks want to admit it or not, you got these brothers light skinned, looking all good, and shooting the lights out. You got hardcore brothers of a darker hue that's sitting up there like, who the hell do they think they are? It's affectionate. It's nothing disrespectful or anything like that. But does that enter conversations when you hear folks talking about them? It absolutely does. And by the way, on a serious note, Dr. Mychal Eric Dyson, my friend, been a fan of this show, been on this show with us before. Skip did, had a riveting conversation with him last year. He just wrote a column in The Undefeated, and he alluded to that in the column. He could speak significantly more intelligently about that particular subject, the light skin, the darker pigmentation issue, far better than I could hope to. I can tell you that much, but it's a reality. And so when Mychal Thompson, I heard him bring that up, that was one of the things that came to my mind. There are people, and that includes black people, or rather, I should say, especially black people, that hold that to some degree against a Klay Thompson, Steph Curry to a lesser degree. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's just a side swipe, just something in jest, because there's no question that you can't help but have profound respect and admiration for their game and how they go about playing the game of basketball. Ain't nothing but love for them, but sometimes when an extreme amount of love comes in their direction, there's a little bit of haterade that's thrown into the equation, because in our society, we believe, particularly as black people, that the darker you are, the more of an uphill battle you constantly have to climb. That's something that's existed throughout American history. It's undeniable, and I don't think it's deniable here in this case with the Splash Brothers.
Okay, I hear everything you just said, and I appreciate that perspective. I do think Mychal Thompson in this case has a great point, and I think I fall victim to it from a different perspective than you're coming from. These two guards look so nonchalant to me half the time, and they don't look the part. It's the baby-faced assassin, the oxymoronic baby-faced assassin that throws me off, where maybe I don't buy in. And isn't it perfect, the contrast right now between the two nonchalant guards, two greatest shooters ever in many views, versus a LeBron James who, you want to talk about looking the part, buffed up, muscled up, tattooed. Shoulders. Yeah, big broad shoulders, a weight room product, an intense warrior in the weight room who doesn't always play the part on the court. But when LeBron gets rolling, man, when he gets you down and starts playing bully ball on you and starts attacking that rim and owning that paint, he not only looks the part, but he's intimidating because he's capable of explosively playing the part. The other two guys are shooting 40-foot three-point shots. And there's a part of you that says, gee, that's not fair. You know, you're not supposed to do that. If you're going to own a basketball game, you got to own the paint. You got to own the glass. You got to dunk on somebody. And we don't see Steph or Clay really dunk. Clay can dunk, obviously, but it's not like they're going to show anybody up dunking on them. And so I think I fall into that trap. And I agree with the Harrison Barnes reference. He looks like he should be going to political science class. He does. I must admit it. And I look at them, as you say, they're light-skinned, but there are no glaring tattoos. I think Steph has two small tattoos, but I don't think about them. And I assume if his father says Clay didn't have any tattoos, I assume he doesn't have any tattoos. So I think we all, it's hard to buy into them as an all-time dominant team because they don't look the part. Is that fair to you? Especially those two shooters. Draymond does to me. Draymond plays the part. He's in your face. He's spilling over with emotion.
I thought all of Mychal Thompson's points were incredibly valid.
Yeah.
I was just pointing out that particular one because I know that's real. But I want to make sure that the venom and hostility one would think comes accustomed with it doesn't necessarily apply here. It's almost like there's a little haterade sprinkled on it specifically because there's so much gold sprinkled on them. You want to sit there and say, look, damn it, they're too good to be true. Can we stop it? Can we stop it? Can we stop it? That's basically what some people are feeling. But as African Americans, make no mistake about it, it's something that has come up throughout history, and it's not going to be any different here. But it's not a direct assault on light-skinned folks. It's just that black folks of a darker pigmentation historically have had a rougher ride than those of us who are a tad bit lighter. It just appears to be a fact of life.
Okay. And I want to point out a great quote that I read in a great piece by Zach Lowe on ESPN.com. I believe it's up right now about Klay Thompson. Stephen A., I don't know if you had time to look at it, but there's a great Luke Walton quote on Klay. And he says, there's definitely a laid-back Southern California vibe with Klay and with our team. It just looks like you don't care. And that's true. But Klay has a burning desire to be great and to win. And he goes on, Luke, to say that he saved the season in that third quarter against Oklahoma City in Game 6, obviously. And then it was pointed out that in Klay's pre-draft scouting report, he was seen as too quiet, disinterested, lacking a hunger to broaden both his game on offense and defense, which is, he's one of the best defenders in the game, obviously. And it points out the Spurs had to have him in twice for private workouts. And it wasn't until the second workout that Chip England, their shooting coach, went to Popovich and said, hey, I'm paraphrasing the quote, but you won't believe this, but I sense a little Manu Ginobili in Klay Thompson. Manu Ginobili? I mean, one of the most wear-it-on-your-sleeve competitors in the league, but he's seeing that spark deep down in Klay. And then remember, this team is made up of a bunch of disrespected players who feel like they were overlooked and underappreciated in the draft. Steph went 7th, Klay went 11th, Draymond went 35th in the draft, Iguodala went 9th and got bounced around from Philly to Denver and then to Golden State. So they're all playing with big chips on their shoulder, but they don't wear it on their sleeves.
Well, my last point real quick, Skip, is this. If you recall, Spike Lee made a movie years ago. It was called School Days.
Yep, I remember.
And it was all about light skin versus dark skin blacks and the perception and all of that other stuff. And now you look at it now, it's Drake, it's Klay, it's Steph. I mean, it's all genres. Some people look at President Obama that way, light skin, even though I don't view him as light skin. Point is that it's a subject that comes up. It is what it is, but it's nothing but respect, because if they weren't great, it wouldn't even be an argument. And Klay Thompson, by the way, he's lethal, man. He's highly competitive and very feisty. Just doesn't wear it on the sleeve.
You don't see it, right?
Mychal and Clay have the opportunity to become just the second father-son duo to win multiple titles, joining Bill and Luke Walton. Skip Bayless, ask and you shall receive. Guess who's calling in? Forget the next topic. Magic Johnson will join us on the phone.
Oh, my goodness.
Calling in. I don't know if he's in Italy.
I
don't know if he's in LA,
it.
but we are going to get into it. First take just getting started. Stay here. He always gets what he wants.